In this lesson, you're going to learn about a rule called promotion. This concept of promotion has to do with the pawns, and it states that if a pawn is able to get all the way across to the other side of the board, that it's able to promote or turn into a better piece. If you remember back to the first lessons we did in this series, we played a lot of the Pawn Wars games, which it was the goal to get one of our pawns across to our opponent's side, and that's how you won the game. Well, in the real game of chess, you don't win the game by getting a pawn across to the other side, but it is a major advantage and a really big part of strategy, because if you get your pawn across, it can turn into a much better piece. What's most often done is that this pawn is turned into another queen, because the queen is the strongest piece in the game of chess. So imagine you're playing your friend, you're able to get your pawn all the way across to the other side. You tell your friend, I want to promote my pawn into any one of these pieces, so you can turn it into a bishop, a knight, a rook, or a queen. You can't turn it into a different pawn, and you can't ever turn it into another king, because there can only ever be one king per side on the board. Now, even though I said the most common thing to do is to trade that pawn and promote it into a queen, there are a few times or a few examples where it might be wiser to turn it into a different piece than the queen, and I'll show you an example here right now. Now take a look at this position right here, and imagine it's white's turn, and white is one move away from promoting their pawn. So if white makes the move and turns this pawn into what I was telling you is most commonly done as a queen, it's a big mistake, as now black gets a turn, and black is just one move away from delivering a checkmate to white. So black gets their turn, they get to move their queen here, and this is checkmate. White can't move here because of the black queen, can't move there because of the queen is attacking the king, and the king can't capture that queen because it's being backed up by the knight. So this is checkmate. White just lost the game. Instead of turning it into a queen, we turn it into a knight. And now by doing that, this allows white to deliver an instant check to the black king. And now black has to deal with that check by getting out of it. They can move any of these spaces, and let's just say they move here. So now it's white's turn. White can take that queen and get rid of that option of the queen coming to deliver that checkmate. Now what would most likely happen would the king would take the knight, and now we're left in a position that we just learned in the last video, where this is a draw by insufficient material. Even though the black has a knight still and they're technically winning, they're never going to be able to get the white king in checkmate, so this is a draw. Means it was a tie, good game, play again. So for this video, if you can understand this idea of a pawn promoting into another piece by getting to the other side of the board, and understand how there might be some circumstances where it's not best to turn that pawn into a queen, like the example I just showed you, you'll be doing really great for this lesson. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you back here in the next lesson. Thanks.